with Dylan.
That's me.
For those that don't know you, give us a little background.
For those that don't know me, so my name is Dylan. Um, I am currently a project manager at Ryan Homes,
Nice.
building houses. Yes,
I actually
but
applied to that one time.
well, what happened? Never mind. Um, in my previous life, I was a Marine for 4 years on Quantico. I was a military police officer when I was in, and I was at the Presidential Helicopter Squadron from 2016 to 2020. When I got out, I became a personal trainer and nutritionist.
Shout out One Life.
Shout out One Life. Met you. Um, and then I spent a short amount of time as a Spotsylvania County deputy. And now I'm with Ryan Holmes. But throughout that entire thing, starting in about 2020, I've been CrossFitting, and that's how we got here.
Nice.
So that's my background.
Yeah. So you've gone from gymnastics, you were a gymnast growing up, to Marines, law enforcement, personal trainer, CrossFit, project manager. What connects all these different versions of you?
All of them are connected by the desire to be challenged. None of the
Okay.
things I've done have been very easy, and I like that about them.
So coming out of high school, that's when you enlisted in the Marines?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What led you to choose Marines over any other branch? What led you to choose just the military career specifically out of high school?
Um, Military at all. I wanted to have the GI Bill to pay for college because I was
Smart.
not a very privileged kid growing up, and I didn't want to have student loans. But then I joined the Marine Corps because it was the hardest one.
There we
So
go.
they say. So they say.
That
So
is
I
what they
don't know that
say.
because I haven't done the others, but that's what they say.
Fair enough. And then got out and were you looking for a career in fitness, or most people that kind of make that pit stop into law enforcement go straight from military to law enforcement? What led you to go and go in the personal trainer route?
I actually was just doing it, well, one, because I love fitness, but I was doing that while I went to college
Okay.
after the Marine Corps. So once the Marine Corps paid for my schooling, I was doing that for funsies to make extra money on the side. Well, it was full time, but on the side.
Yeah. And so did you always have I guess, the plan to go into law enforcement once you got your degree, or?
I did not. I actually dabbled in it before I finished the degree because of some life and situational changes, but it ended up working out to where I could finish it and then not have to be in law enforcement, but move into something else, move into business and project management.
Right. And how was your time as a deputy out in the old Spotsylvania County?
It was fine. Um, you find out that there's a lot more going on where you live than you know.
Yeah, that's true. You
A
always
lot
do.
more than meets the eye. I liked the department and the people a lot. It just wasn't really a long-term job for me.
I
It's not where I
see.
saw myself retiring out of.
Did you get bored?
I didn't get bored.
Hmm,
It was never boring out in Spotsy.
I see.
So
Because remember, I told you before you went to the academy, I was like, I don't think you're gonna like Spotsy. You should go to a city.
unbelievably, Spotsy's busy.
Yeah, it's a big county.
It's
Yeah.
420 square miles or something like that. Like it's big, but they stay rolling.
Yeah. So how are
Interesting
you
stuff.
balancing being a project manager, which I assume takes up most of your day? Are you doing any coaching at all with CrossFit, or just training yourself?
Sometimes I sub for
Okay.
classes, but that's
Right.
like when nobody's around. But so no, not
Yeah.
really.
Okay. How is it balancing your professional career there out on the job sites with you're pretty high level CrossFit, or where are you at right now in I'm not too sure the CrossFit
Hmm.
I guess competition. I know they have the locals, and then is it regionals, opens, that kind of thing. Talk to me about that.
So in CrossFit, I guess you're like there is a CrossFit Games season, and that starts with the
Okay.
CrossFit Open, and this is like sanctioned by CrossFit TM the brand. So the open season is still going on right now. I qualified for quarterfinals, which is the next step after the open, in the top either first or second percentile. I can't tell you
Congrats.
for sure. Thanks. But then I then qualified for what we're in right now is semifinals. So you had to be top 2,000 in the world, and I was 814.
Nice.
So I guess that's kind of the gauge. So I guess you could say the top 1%.
It's pretty legit.
We started in a field of 100,000 women. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's my first time
Solid.
making semifinals, which was one of my like life goals. I was like, just make the semifinals, and that's all you need to do. But it's the last step before the CrossFit Games. So
How many people go to the CrossFit Games?
only 40 men and 40 women. So
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not.
so that's like the championship of CrossFit.
Yes.
Got you.
Yep. I'm not expecting that this year. I think that would be a bad expectation, but it's not. Now that I'm here, it's not out of the realm of possibility ever.
Yeah, definitely. You never know what you're capable of. How would you say that your definition or your mythology of fitness has changed going from the gymnastic structure to the PT style in the Marines, developing your own as a personal trainer slash CrossFit? What does that look like for you?
So I guess in gymnastics, it was a lot of just body weight, more like calisthenic type workouts. We did condition was what we called it. It was really just body weight strength training every practice for 30 minutes at the end. Or if you continuously messed up at a meet, you would go for a little longer than that.
Okay.
So that was just like more body weight. I kind of cross trained with track and field, but I wasn't any good at it, so I won't dip into that too far. But just to be like lighter and smaller for gymnastics.
I don't know. You got a lightning bolt on your chest in your profile picture, so there's got to be some type of speed element to you.
I have been working on it.
Okay.
So then I went to the Marine Corps, and I was just really training for the PFT, which was just 3-mile run, max pull-ups, and then max crunches, which is a plank now. But when I was in, it was crunches. So I really only worked on like things that would get me better there. When I got officially into the Marine Corps, all I was really doing was lifting.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I first started. Like, actually, I remember the first time I barbell squatted was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened in my whole life, and I'm never going to do anything else. But my view on fitness changed because I was doing all that strength training. And then one day, like, I was all about the pre-workout. Like, I would dry scoop it and chase it with a bang. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to go lift. I'm going to get big. I was walking up the stairs to my apartment one day, and I got to the top, and I was like winded. And I was like, I thought I was pinnacle fitness. I have abs. I'm it. And then I was winded, and I was like, ooh, this has to change. So that's actually when I started CrossFitting. It was like a combo of that and then COVID. So
Yeah.
One Life Fitness closed for a brief amount of time during COVID, and I was going to there was an aircraft hangar that was at on the base, and they had a big Connex box filled with like a rack and plates and stuff, and they had all the CrossFit stuff, and that's how I got into it. So
Gotcha. So you didn't even like know that you would have been like good at CrossFit per se? Like it was just kind of something you picked up because you felt like you needed more conditioning?
Yeah, and yep, not having access to a regular gym. Pretty
When
much.
did you realize that, oh, there's something to this? Like I think I can compete at a high level.
So I started it, and I actually picked it up with a couple of other Marines that did it more regularly. Like they were super into it. They were trying to get as good as possible at CrossFit. Like they were in the culture and they were down for it. And we did. My first CrossFit workout was one of the open workouts in 2021. And it was
the open ones are typically harder than like the workouts of the day, or
they're kind of similar. I think they're just harder because people are more intense about it. They go harder,
Gotcha.
so you have to try harder in that.
Sense.
And it was a wall walk, which is a CrossFit movement that's very gymnasticsy. Wall walk and double under, so jump rope. And I picked it up right away because it was gymnastics, like the wall walks. And they were like, you need to do this. And so I got excited about that. So the gymnastics background bled into the CrossFit, and that's what
Nice.
made it cool. Because it's also in CrossFit, gymnastics is usually what bottlenecks like the capacity that women have, just because the upper body strength and the body awareness
Mm-hmm.
that they might not have developed in other sports, it's harder
Right.
to learn.
That makes sense.
So that did it.
What do most people misunderstand about CrossFit? Or why do you think it gets so much hate?
There's so many haters, Flash. There's so many haters. A lot of people I don't think understand that CrossFit is not necessarily like it is a brand, but CrossFit itself is a methodology. They
Mm-hmm.
just only think of it as the sport or the brand, and so they just think floppy pull-ups and bad weightlifting, which
Right.
is what you see online. Which there is bad weightlifting and some people doing some crazy things. Yeah, they're gonna hurt their shoulders, but
Yeah. But you see that from amateur power lifters and
right,
amateur weightlifters as well.
yeah.
So that's kind of something that's across the board, not necessarily exclusive to CrossFit.
No, true. It's not. I think that people just don't understand the methodology because CrossFit defined is not just gymnastics and weightlifting. It's just what you see and perceive it to be. It is just constantly varied functional movement at high intensity is the actual CrossFit definition by the founder, Greg Glassman, who wrote an article on what it is and what the purpose of it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which also features the hierarchy of development, which is based in nutrition, and then that goes all the way up to sport. I don't think people understand that it's actually just like an amalgamation of all modalities of fitness.
Mm-hmm.
They just think that it's go fast and do things badly in the name of going faster, which it's not.
Right.
Which it's not. So I think that's it. I think if they understood it and like tried it, it would change a lot of their perspectives.
Yeah. No, it seems like to me that to, I guess, excel at CrossFit, you need to have a high work capacity. Because obviously, there's some of the weightlifting movements in there, but if you take a
Mhm.
weightlifter and you make them, run a 200 or 400-meter dash and come back and try to weightlift again, they might be throwing up their lunch.
Mhm.
Or if you have, runners who can, really excel at the running part, you try to, have them clean and jerk a barbell, might not necessarily happen. So what do you think like helps somebody excel the most at CrossFit? Would you agree that it's the work capacity, or what do you see?
I think that capacity is a big part of it. So I would guess I would lump capacity into so the development of the hierarchy of development is nutrition, and then the next part of the pyramid is metabolic conditioning. So I would put
Hmm.
that into the metabolic conditioning realm. Um, how to develop that, or like
Sure,
how
if you want to go into that, let's hear it.
well, I don't want to go too deep. I'm also like a little removed from my training realm and I just do whatever my coach tells me to do.
Okay.
But I would just say that actually balancing their program, which is also back to the misunderstanding of CrossFit, there's competitive CrossFit and then there's lifestyle CrossFit. They're
Hmm.
not the same thing. Um,
What's the
but
difference there? Well, like where would I see each version of those?
so you would see both in like any CrossFit box, any CrossFit gym.
Okay.
But when you go to the CrossFit, like the 1 hour classes that you see at the gyms, you have the
Yeah.
lifestyle like CrossFitters, which is more like you go in for an hour, you do the workout of the day, you do the
Hmm.
strength, if there's strength that day, posted, and then you go home.
Yeah.
Competitive CrossFit is more you have either a coach or a program that's more specific to you, and then you work on your own weaknesses that way.
Gotcha. I
Um,
would say I have the biggest beef with the lifestyle from working at a couple of different gyms because you see some of their classes and like for example, I worked at one of the Lifetimes up there in Minnesota, and as part of being like the assistant fitness director, I took one of the classes from everything that we had to offer.
mhm,
We didn't call it CrossFit. I can't remember the name of it, but it was basically the CrossFit style class. I
mhm,
believe our workout was a clean and jerk ladder that was 4 8 12 8 4, and then we had to run, I want to say it was maybe like
two or
a
four
quarter
hundred,
mile in,
four
yeah, I
hundred.
think it was a quarter mile in between each one. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in my mind I'm thinking like, all right, like, I can clean and jerk, but I've never done 12 of them.
Yeah.
To me, I'm thinking like that's a power exercise where I'm recruiting a lot of 90% of the muscles in my body. It's taxing on the CNS. And I'm thinking, if me as, pretty decently conditioned person is, having some struggles with that, what is Joe Schmo coming in the door and this is his first workout? Where's the regression? Because the regression was just in the weights. There wasn't necessarily an easier exercise. It wasn't like, oh, if you don't know how to do it with a barbell, do it with a kettlebell. So now I can't say whether that was an issue with the program in itself or whether that was just a coach issue who didn't have the regressions and progressions.
You could probably attribute it to either. I would think that, well, when you affiliate with CrossFit and you have the CrossFit level 1 coach cert, which I do not, I don't have that. But when you do, they teach you the scaling and progressions. Also, when you sign up at a CrossFit gym, they have a typically 3-day foundations class, which I know is not substantial. Like 3 days is not a lot to go learn all of this, but you would learn the basics of, like, even a lot of people come in and when I started, didn't know the difference between a clean and a snatch, but I had to learn. So that could either be coaching or programming. I would probably lean towards coaching because you're the coach, you're in charge of this workout, and you know the members and the athletes. Like, you should be able to change it on the fly. Like, I probably would have changed it to a dumbbell clean and jerk for them. Just because it's an easier one to wrap your head around if you don't have the barbell movement down, or even just take it down to like just the bar and be like, you're still going to get this workout in at a high intensity. It's just going to be scaled to what you're actually capable of. But if
it was painful for me watching that. I think I might have added like 10 minutes to my time just from like watching and making sure that nobody was like going to drop this barbell on their head. Yeah.
Then I would say that's the coaching. And I don't know if this person had a CrossFit level 1, but they also go through like safety and what people can and cannot be doing with their skill level.
I've heard it's a pretty extensive certification process, right?
It's not like long per se, but the testing is pretty, I would say it's more thorough than others, the testing at least.
And you mentioned earlier that nutrition is kind of the foundation behind CrossFit. So I haven't heard that with any CrossFit. Touch on that. Like, did they teach? Is that like every class they teach nutrition habits, or what does that look like?
They don't necessarily teach it in the classes. I mean, I would, just by virtue of being a nutritionist. But in there was an article written by the CEO, the first CEO, the founder of CrossFit, Greg Glassman, which is defining it and what it's meant for and why he's creating this whole thing. And in it, he has this pyramid, which is the hierarchy of development. And it's essentially how you get from not being fit to being CrossFit. And the base is nutrition. As a coach, they are educated on this hierarchy of development and some basic nutrition, but it's not anything extensive. They're not nutritionists, but the CrossFit way is essentially eat meat, eat vegetables, and reduce your processed sugar.
Pretty
it's
simple.
Very simple. Yeah. And it goes nutrition, metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, and then weightlifting and throwing. And then that's when it levels up to sport. Like, sport is at the top of the pyramid, like strategy and things like that. But that's when you get into like, once you master all the things of the pyramid, you start to like get into, how do I do this faster? How do I do this better?
Right. And efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the efficiency is something that, gets a lot of hate with CrossFit. Like you mentioned, the floppy pull-ups. Like, if you're doing, a CrossFit workout where you're going to end up having to do, 50 to 100 pull-ups, you don't want to do them as strict as possible. You want to get your chin or chest to the bar as fast or in the most efficient way you can. And, that's kind of the name of the game there, where I think, most people might not understand that.
And that too, also, like, that could get a bad name from coaching as well, because it does come down to, your coach is the one that's supposed to tell you, like, hey, if you can't do a strict or multiple strict pull-ups, you should not be doing kipping pull-ups because you don't have the foundational strength to support your body in that position.
Yeah.
So point. In the like progression of CrossFit, what you would start with is a strict pull-up, which might even start with like ring rows or banded pull-ups or jumping pull-ups until you get to the strict pull-up. and then you go from your strict pull up to your kipping pull up. You go from your kipping pull up to your chest to bar pull up, and then you bring in that butterfly like C kip that you probably see like the games athletes doing. And then that's what moves you into like bar muscle ups and so on. Like it's all meant to be a progression into that.
Yeah.
Like
Just like every other exercise would be.
right. But it's pull ups specifically have to get their name cleared in CrossFit, I think.
Yeah, understandably so.
But
what do you think something that CrossFit gets right that traditional training misses?
do you mean that in the sense of traditional training for the average person or for an athlete?
Let's go with an athlete, because I wouldn't say that most people in a commercial gym that are training for overall fitness are doing CrossFit. So we'll just say,
Sure.
athletic training.
So then in that case, I guess on a sports specific level, like saying maybe you have an athlete, a soccer player, baseball player, whatever, I wouldn't say that CrossFit is the best thing for them. Because long distance running, if you're a CrossFitter and you're focusing a lot on weightlifting and gymnastic, like, or specifically weightlifting, like you're going to put on muscle mass and get bigger, and it's not necessarily working just your engine. You're working all modalities, but you're not working that specific one. I would say it's just taking time away from your training on your sport specific event or what have you. For just strength and conditioning wise, like to supplement, I think you could supplement any sport with it, but I wouldn't have it as like a primary training methodology if you're going for sport specific athleticism.
Yeah. What do you think about High Rocks? That's kind of CrossFit's new rival, isn't it?
It is.
Kind of more for runners.
Yes. And High Rocks is getting all the hate that CrossFit used to get. Like everybody's making fun of High Rocks now. I'm signed up for one in New York on June 1st.
Okay, nice.
I've been training High Rocks because my weaknesses in CrossFit are running and engine. It is running and engine. So cross training High Rocks and CrossFit has been good for me.
Yeah.
What I actually think about High Rocks though, I mean, it's different. High Rocks is like an event. It's always the same thing. And it's
is always the same thing.
It's always the same race.
I knew it was always like an event, and then you run 1,000 meters, an event, run 1,000, but all the events are the same as well?
Yes. So as of now, everything is consistent across. Like it starts with 1,000-meter ski. I'm going to get the order wrong, but there's 1,000-meter ski, burpee broad jump, wall balls are at the end, 1,000-meter row, sandbag lunges.
Okay.
And farmer's carry. And I'm definitely missing one, but
you always know what to expect with High Rocks.
You know exactly what's coming. So I ran a practice one a week ago. And so you can prepare directly for that event. Like, but CrossFit is in that original article by Greg Glassman is preparing for the unknown and unknowable.
Right.
It might sound a little intense, but you're meant to be fit across all modalities. So anything that comes up, you can be good at it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, especially from a tactical background. You know, you don't know what you're going to come up against.
Yes. So for something like that, so for military and law enforcement and firefighting, I don't think there is a better training. I don't think there's anything better than CrossFit. But with High Rocks, I mean, it's fun. I like training for it. I think the event's going to be fun. I've been to 2 of them, but I didn't do them. I think it'll be a good time, but at risk of people hating me for this, I don't think it's nearly as hard or as challenging. It's long.
Yeah.
It's long, but it's not as hard, I don't think. It's not as intense because it's long.
It's less strength based, right? More like sled drags and farmer carries and wall balls.
Sled push and pull are the other two. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll see the people excelling in High Rocks are more the people who look like distance runners, the best way to describe that, just because most of it is running, because it's a 1K in between every station.
Yeah.
And so when I did the practice, I was actually surprised. I was like, the stations are almost like not long enough, because I was trying to recover on doing everything else that's more CrossFit-y, is where I can catch my breath.
Yeah.
But so I still like it. It's making me better, but it's not, I wouldn't call it the best thing that's ever happened to fitness.
Okay.
People like it though, so they're getting into
People
it, and
do like it. Yeah, it's
they're
growing pretty
getting into
fast.
running, and they're getting into things they've not
Yeah.
done before. So I like it for that. Like people who can't necessarily do weightlifting or the gymnastics of CrossFit, I like that about it. I like that it's getting more people
Mm,
into it and involved, and it's more community. People
yeah,
like it.
that makes sense. Have you heard of Apex? Do you know what that is?
I've heard of Apex, but I don't know a lot about it.
It's basically like a strength and conditioning combine. So there's a 40-yard dash, a broad jump, a vertical jump, an overhead med ball throw. Then the weights are different between men and women, but it's a bench press AMRAP, a deadlift AMRAP, and then you run a mile at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. You think you'd be good at that? I want to see you try that. I think you'd be pretty good.
Of all those, I think I'd be pretty good. I think my worst one would be the vertical jump. I got no vert.
No vert? You're
No
glued to the
vert.
ground?
I'm glued to the. I've been practicing. No vert.
Okay. Tough. Yeah, the weightlifting you'd probably kill because I think the bench press for women, I think it's 115 pounds.
It's an
For the
AMRAP. Do you know how
men,
long? Like a
for the
minute,
bench
two
press, you get a minute,
a
yeah,
minute.
to bang them out. And in the deadlift, for women, it might be like 275, something like that, trap bar.
And
And
that's also an AMRAP.
yeah, that one is a hammer. Actually, the bench press might just be as many as you can get, no time limit. I know the deadlift
Unbroken.
has a minute, yeah.
I,
Um,
sounds like I would like it. I
yeah,
like
no.
deadlifting.
If it comes to Virginia, I think you gotta sign up and give
Sign
it a
up
try because
to see.
I think you probably place pretty decent in that.
I would give it a shot.
Yeah. Transition in here. New question.
New question.
What's a hill that you're willing to die on regarding strength and conditioning? And then on the flip side of that, what's something you've changed your mind on in the last year?
I'm not sure I've ever met a hill I'm not willing to die on. But I don't I don't know. I have to think. Um, I think I'll die on how important zone two training is. A
Okay,
lot of people will be
interesting.
like, you don't need that. It's not high intensity.
Yeah.
I think for any athlete or any obviously CrossFitter, because that's what I'm working on now, I think it's the best and only way to build your work capacity bottom up.
Interesting.
And I will
Okay.
die on that. And the second half was something that I've changed my mind on. Probably that.
That zone
Because
two is important. Okay.
yes, I mean, because I used to do it, but I didn't actually like track it or make sure that I'm hitting enough hours, in a
Right.
week or in a month or whatever. And it's something that I started doing probably a year and a half ago, and I've seen like leaps and bounds in my fitness level just as a whole from doing that.
Interesting. Hmm.
Also
Now, do
hill
you think?
sprints.
Yeah, health sprints will do it. They'll
Not
get
zone
you right
two,
for
but
sure. Yeah,
not zone
definitely
two, but
not
I'll
zone
die on
two.
it.
That might be 4 or 5, but
That's definitely 5, but I'll die on
coming
that.
down the
That's
hill is
important.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that the modality of your zone 2 cardio matters? For example, if I drink a Ghost Energy drink and pop a Zen in, I might be at zone 2 just like walking around the mall.
Yeah, so I definitely think the modality matters. Um, because you could get your heart rate there, but are
Hmm.
you conditioning your muscles in conjunction with that as well? Are
Right.
you getting used to feeling uncomfortable or slightly uncomfortable for long periods, or are you just popping us in and just buzzing? You
Yeah.
know?
I know what you
Um,
mean.
I think there's a psychological element to zone two as well.
Just having to do that stays you're just out there just chugging through it, staying calm. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's a good point. I would say that zone 2 is probably important for I guess people in your position, CrossFit, not so much team sport athletes. I would make the argument that looking at like heart rate data and whatnot, that team sport athletes get zone 2 from practice and whatnot, like
I would
soccer,
agree.
football, that kind of thing.
I'd agree. Like just
Yeah,
from being at practice and moving,
right.
I would say that would suffice as zone two for them. I don't think that they
Yeah.
would have to do additional zone two training.
Have you heard of rehit, reduced exertion, high intensity interval training?
I've heard of it in myths and legends and concepts, but I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah. So basically, like I think the original protocol is done on a bike. It's a 6 minute easy bike ride, warm up, whatever pace you want to go. 30
Mhm.
seconds all out. 3 minutes easy again, 30 seconds all out. So it takes 10 minutes. The literature I reviewed, now I've looked at a couple of different studies. Some was on sedentary people, some was on already trained athletes. Studies done as little as 3 weeks all the way up to 10, as little as 2 days a week, all the way up to 5 days a week. So I did it and I kind of condensed it. So I did it in 5 minutes. I would do a 1 minute warm up, 30 seconds on, 3 minutes off, 30 seconds on, twice a week. And tested my VO2 max and it jumped up by like 5 points just doing that alone. So 10
Really?
minutes a week. Yeah. Now, granted, that's about the only cardio that I do
I
besides
would say
popping
maybe
zings
just
and playing
doing
pickleball.
cardio.
But
Probably just doing
yeah,
cardio at all is going to improve your VO2 max.
yeah.
Um,
Maximize my time there though with 10 minutes a week. Skipping the
yes,
zone too.
I
That
say,
was
but
my thought behind it.
imagine if you did a 45-minute zone 2 jog. You take 35 more minutes, but
Yeah. I
imagine
do about 6 1 hour coaching sessions at zone 2 or 3.
I'm
So
not
does that
counting
count?
it. I'm not
No?
counting it. No.
Come on, I'm
I
getting
would
like 14K steps a day walking around the weight room.
I would say that you would have to have both experiments done to actually have
Yeah,
conclusive results there.
fair
I
enough.
won't argue it until I see both sides though.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably safe. Let's go into some of the mental toughness stuff. So, going from gymnastics, Marine, law enforcement, CrossFit, how would you define mental toughness after experiencing all that?
Think I would define mental toughness as the ability to do the things that you tell yourself you're going to do. And that's pretty
Have a
simple.
discipline.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's also like having the like just doing the things you tell yourself you're going to do is building the confidence that you are exactly who you say you are and you can do exactly what you say you're going to do. Um, and so when you're in the middle of a hard workout and you're like, oh, well, I said I was going to do this. So, and even if you didn't say it to somebody else, you said it to yourself that you're going to do it, then you're going to do it. And
Yeah,
that's a benefit of training in itself, the psychological element of achieving hard things and knowing that you can do it. And then if you just stick it out and grit it out, that you can.
definitely.
I don't know if that's a great definition, but that's what comes to mind.
I think that's a pretty good definition. Do you have any experience that you can touch on between, it doesn't even have to be Marines or law enforcement, something
Mhm.
that that has stuck with you in life that in kind of instilled that discipline or that mental toughness to where you knew that you could kind of get through anything physically?
Foundationally, I would say that it started with gymnastics.
Okay.
Just because what we did, me and all the other 11 to 17-year-old girls did was pretty challenging. Like what we would have to do in practice. And looking back, not until you look back do you realize how challenging it really was. Because when I got to Marine Corps boot camp, like it was 3 months psychologically challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but physically no problem because I already like
Yeah,
had the foundation. Yeah. And it's not like I'm a stud or anything, like I'm so cool, but it's just like I know I can I know I can do it. And if you look left and right and somebody else is doing it, you know you can do it. Um
yeah. A
something
sense of
that's
camaraderie out there.
kind of or competition or
Mm,
both. You can see it as
fair
both.
enough. Yeah.
Um and both do help you excel. Um they call it embracing the suck. Um
I
but
do like that term. Somebody's
yeah,
got to carry the boats.
somebody's got to carry the boats and it might as well be me. Um, in the Marine Corps, I would say I wouldn't say this made me like mentally tough or disciplined or anything, but there was a moment that sticks out as funny. I was in a leadership course to get promoted to sergeant. You have to like PME, you have to take them. And I
Hmm.
was the only, not to be like, I was the only female in the room, but I was the only girl in the room. And part of the leadership course, there was a discussion on fitness standards, like if male and female fitness standards should be the same
Right.
or if women
Yeah,
should
that's
be
a
able
hot
to be.
topic.
It is a hot topic, especially like right now, recently with the new people in control and government. But I won't get into that.
It's a
And
podcast for a different day.
that's for another day. That's for dividing the people another way. Not CrossFit, but politics. There was right next to me, because we were seated alphabetically, there was another corporal who I guess did not like females in the Marine Corps, or just his opinion was different. He said no, because they simply cannot do it. They cannot meet the physical standards. They shouldn't be in at all, let alone held to the same standard. He said if they were held to the same standard, I still don't want them in. And I was like, whoa, that's a crazy take. You're right next to me, but which is fine. You're allowed to have your opinion.
Yeah.
But what's funny about it is I actually pulled up. There's usually a calculator online for your PT scores, what you get out of 300 for your age bracket and your gender and whatever. And he's like, yeah, but women simply can't do what men can do. And I was like, okay, insert said name Marine's name here. What did you get on your PFT? Like, what were your scores? And he was like, oh, I got a 270 whatever out of 300. And I was like, okay, so let's do the computations as if I was a guy. Right. And I had beaten his score.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
So that, I mean, not that I'm like, oh, I'm the fittest person in the world, but I'm like,
yeah, there's always outliers.
There's always outliers, but it's also, how are you going to say that? How are you going to have that belief and then not, like, I'm backing it up the opposite thing right next to you. But there's something about always having something to prove that kind of made me have something to prove. But then back to the question, what pushes me towards this environment, towards growing and being challenged, is like proving people wrong almost.
Got that dog in you.
I got that dog in me. Some kinds. There's something. But that sticks out.
Do you have any or what's it like being a project manager? Because that's kind of vastly different than law enforcement, Marines, personal trainer.
It is vastly different. I knew nothing about construction when I started, and now I build people's houses that they live in. I think that was more challenging strictly in the mental way, like learning all these things that I didn't know. But I think having the foundation of like the mental toughness and believing I can do anything I say that I can do helped me get there and get there faster. So it's cool. It's a lot less stressful. It has its own stresses.
Yeah, you don't get shot at.
Not getting shot at. People aren't typically dying around you, but
they shouldn't, at least.
They shouldn't be if I'm in OSHA compliance, but God, I said that, now something bad's gonna happen. But
I'm not going to wood for you.
Knock on my bench. But it's cool. I like it. The culture is good where I'm at Ryan Home, so it's nice.
Yeah.
The people are cool.
I actually was pretty nice.
Got referred through one of my clients at One Life, and then the guy who interviewed me, I didn't know until I sat down in the interview, went to my CrossFit gym. So I was like,
oh, really?
I'm like, I'm in.
Nice.
Yeah. Sat down. Well, I was qualified for the job, but I sat down and I was like, oh, you go to my gym. He was like, you go to my gym. So it was cool.
I actually turned that one down to go work at One Life Stafford. Yeah. Small world.
It's okay. It progressed your career.
It did. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm not working on a job site. Well, I mean, better than working in an office, but I can't complain around hanging around a gym all day.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I used to get a little like, sometimes monetizing your passions, it doesn't always like sit right. I enjoyed it when I did it.
We could, keep going.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, I enjoyed it when I did it. I think after a while being in the gym all day, sometimes then I would have to work out and it would feel like I have to work out, not that I get to work out. Yeah. And I didn't really like that, but.
No, I feel you. Going back to what you said, monetizing your passions, I think a lot of people have some different opinions on that. Some people say, if you're good at something, never do it for free, which I get. But I think I hated that aspect of working in the private industry, personal trainer or whatever it be, just because of like the onboarding process to where, for me, if I had Smart Start, or for people that don't know what a Smart Start is, consultation with a new member. I'm going to ask you, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? I'm going to show you and talk you through how you can do that. And at the end of the day, it's like, all right, you want to trade with me or you don't. You either rock with me or you don't. I'm not going to go through this whole list of, oh, overcoming objections. Oh, well, you said 20 minutes ago that nutrition was your third priority in your day. What does your wife have to say about you trade? Like, I couldn't stand that whole aspect of it.
Right. No problem.
What'd you do in breakfast?
Um, sorry, what did you say?
No, you're good. I just said I couldn't stand that whole process of, having to wine and dine the
I got
customer.
you
The
up to there.
customer is
Okay.
always
Yeah.
right, Customer's rarely ever right.
And in coaching, especially like training, like you don't want somebody who doesn't want to do it. Like,
Exactly, because then they're going to be gone in a month anyway.
and they're just no fun to work with either.
Yeah, excuses and whatnot.
Yes. And so with what you do now, do you have far less of that?
Yeah, I mean, I work at IMG Academy down here in Florida, so private boarding school. So I guess it's kind of a twofold there. So we are a business. That's how we make money, whether it be through tuition or through camps. So we are focused on providing the utmost service. But fortunately, I guess in my role, I don't really have to sell people on
Right.
anything. I just provide the service. And so I think, yeah, specifically for me, if you love what you do, it's not like working.
Right. Well,
And
that's neat.
yeah,
Well, that's a good way of monetizing your passion then,
yeah,
without having to sell yourself, without having to like sell out. That's what I used to call the smart start. It's like a sellout.
it is. And I think it's a shame that a lot of public gyms give trainer of the year or coach of the year to whoever brings in the most money. Like, obviously, at the end of the day, it's a gym, everybody's trying to make money, but just because you have the most amount of clients or you sold the most amount, that don't mean you're the best coach.
I agree. I agree
Yeah,
a lot. I I strongly agree.
yeah. Good times at One Life.
Good times.
Yeah,
One Life Fitness is great.
One Life Fitness. Come on down. Sorry, we went on a tangent there. Let me find another good question to ask. What's something in the fitness industry that you think is complete nonsense?
That was a perfect segue. Um, I don't remember which Williams sister it was, either Serena or Venus. I want to say it was Venus Williams, who was on the Ozempic commercial.
Yeah.
It was Venus,
Uh,
or was it Serena? One of the
one of them.
two
Yeah, it was one
were
of them
on
in there.
the Ozempic commercial. And so the Wegovy Ozempic weight loss drug wave,
GLP-1s.
yeah, is driving me crazy. Because it's
Yeah.
not just being used for people who are hardly capable of getting off their couch, or Ozempic is no longer just being used to treat diabetes. It's moving beyond that, and it's moving into an aesthetic like, oh, I can just work less and just get the same effect. But
Yeah, it really defeats the whole body positivity movement.
it
Everybody was
does.
always talking about how, oh, it's okay to be fat, it's okay to be bigger, I'm secure in my body. Hey, well, as soon as they made a drug for it, people
Everybody
hopped on
found it.
that. Everybody found it. Yeah, nobody wanted to work out.
Yeah. And it's also just crazy to me because in like CrossFit, the base is nutrition. And so
Hmm.
all those things just make you not want to eat. And it's so unhealthy. Like people who are on them are like, you can see the light like dying from their, like they're not glowing. Their hair is like falling out
Literally, and they end up all skinny fat and whatnot.
and they're
Yeah,
skinny fat.
it's
So
terrible.
that's one thing. So trending is the weight loss drugs.
And on the flip side of that, I would say also, well, more so in the men's circle, but TRT and peptides. I think that that's definitely been an out for men who say, "Oh, like I had no choice, like I had to hop on TRT." It's like, hey, maybe if you
Right.
got your nutrition and your stress under control, you'd have a little bit higher testosterone.
Sure, I agree. You see a lot of it. They're like, "Oh, my test was low," and I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
My
you
test was
sit on
low,
your
so
couch.
instead of taking the 100 milligrams a week as my doctor provided, I'm taking 400.
Or you just find the doctor that'll prescribe you more than you need.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
delts have delts now.
Yeah, yeah. And you're like, yeah, my test is low. My delts have delts, and I'm like 20 pounds heavier, but my test is still low, so I still need this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's wild.
that too, almost kind of segueing into the, like, male specific, female specific. I don't like the trend of like females should be training differently from males. I don't like that. I'm sure there are spaces like client specific or person specific where it matters,
Right.
but in the general sense, like all these TikToks that I see of like, you shouldn't be working out like your boyfriend. Like, I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not? Like,
nonsense.
what
Yeah.
is that? We all have a human body. Like, it's all, the hormones are different levels, but it's not to where you shouldn't be training the same way to build muscle and lose body fat. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Really, the only two things that I hear that I think there might be actual substances is regards to female athletes having a larger Q angle, putting them more at risk of ACL injuries. But again, is that like, yes, that exists, but is that statistically significant in the amount of ACL injuries? I would have
Sure.
to say probably not.
Right.
Or, nutrition when it comes to like different phases of the menstrual cycle, which
Mhm.
for majority of the population is probably not a factor unless you are somebody who's competing at like the level you're in.
Right. Even still, um, I'm sure, and again, there are probably specific cases where it does matter. But I think people are also just getting too sciencey with their lifestyle training. I'm like, you're not, like you said, you're not an athlete. You're just staying fit. So you don't need to think this hard. You just need to come in
Yeah.
and sweat and try and
The
push yourself a little bit.
biohackers.
Yeah, the biohackers. I'm like, yeah, you're not going to just magically see new results because you've discovered that you have fluctuating hormones. Like,
For real.
your life isn't going to change today.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is what I see on TikTok. It's like, oh, do this to spot reduce belly fat. Like, you can spot reduce fat, and
Mm-hmm.
it's enough. That's a biohack. Like, oh, do this so you can spot reduce. You can't. That's impossible. Good luck.
Yeah, you can't unless you're what's that one influencer, clavicular, the
I
looks
don't know this
maxer.
one.
You
I
heard
don't
of
know this
him?
one.
No?
No.
Dude, this guy's wild. So I've saw something. So I think he's like a 19, 20-year-old kid or whatever.
Mhm.
He's a looks maxer. So his whole thing is like doing whatever he can to try to look more attractive. So this man does things like he'll take little tiny hammers to like cause micro fractions in his cheekbones that
So then
whatever, I
they'll like
guess,
swell.
frame his face better. He takes like Adderall, literal meth for like energy and to stay better. But I went on a tangent there. But as
That's
far as
okay.
spot reducing, he injected like something in the like around the mons pubis bone of like his
Mhm.
lower abdomen that supposedly melts fat away. But yeah, I don't know. Not a good example for the young lads out there.
Not a great one. So yeah, that does extend into men as well, men and women. I'm like, what? Just be active. Just
Yeah.
move around.
Be
Um,
active and don't listen to influencers unless one, they're natural, or two, they're walking the walk as they talk the talk.
right. Yeah. There's a lot of things that bother me in the fitness industry.
Yeah. What's one piece of advice you would give to somebody? We'll put it in your specific realm, not just starting out their fitness journey, but who's interested in CrossFit.
Someone who's interested in CrossFit competitively.
Sure. Yeah. What's some advice you'd give to them?
I would tell them that there is nothing that they cannot accomplish. Because when I started, I did not think that I would get remotely this good. But I think that if I had, and this is still not an excuse because I'm still going to try, I'm still going to push as far as I can and maybe try to one day go to the games if it's now in the open division or the masters division. I don't know. So 35 and up is masters, like old people division.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm getting close to that. Might have to come out of
yeah,
retirement.
we're getting there. So if I think that if I had a slightly different mindset from the beginning, like I can do whatever I like, if that's my goal, I can achieve it. If I started 5 years ago, I think I'd be closer now. And I think I was just doing it because I had nothing else challenging going on at the time. But somebody who's brand new, I'd be like, if this is something you want to do, you can fully commit to it and you can do whatever you want.
Commit and start, don't wait.
Commit and go. Don't think, just do.
Just do it. All gas, no brakes, right? Isn't that your catchphrase?
I'm like right in front of my car and the license plate is all gas. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. I think that's pretty good to end on. Do you have any last things you want to get out there? Any Instagrams, books, podcasts, anything you want to plug in here at the end?
I would plug CrossFit as a whole. Like it's very
Okay.
simple. Just
Who could have seen that coming?
no one saw it coming. Since starting it, my life has been infinitely better. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And
There we
I'm
go.
gonna do it until the day I die. If I've got no legs, I'm still
Hell
doing
yeah.
pull-ups. I'm gonna keep going.
That's motivation right there.
Woo. You know me.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm going to end this recording here, but I got another question to ask you after here.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Let me try to find this. And